So it should be welcome to... What do we call ourselves again?
The Can't Be Any Worse podcast. Okay, so... All right,
well, we've got to do the follow-up from last week.
We do. That's why Matt's here.
That's why Matt's here. That's why I've got you here,
Hey, that sounds like a good introduction. We just nailed it. Sweet.
Yeah, cool.
Yep. Episode 2. What are you going to say?
So, as a follow-up from last week, one of the notes that we did talk about was the...
Wow, you're fucking mechanical. You're just
I
straight
am
into
mechanical.
it. This is Matt, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
He lives in Southeast Asia.
Hello.
If you want to get more specific, feel free. But I can't remember if I mentioned it last week. But it's a bit dodgy over there in some places, so I don't know how specific you want to be about where you are at any one time.
Yeah, but what we were talking...
If you're going to be criticizing things.
But what we were talking about last week was the child surrogacy being recently made illegal in Cambodia, it being cracked down, and a surrogacy clinic run by an Australian woman was shut down. So, just to give it a bit of a background as to what is going on over there in Southeast Asia in terms of surrogacy, we have Matt, who can maybe provide us with a few details.
Okay, well, surrogacy got outlawed in a bunch of countries over Asia recently, in recent years, including Thailand, Nepal, India, countries like that.
Mm-hmm.
And, I mean, generally, surrogacy is meant to be a good thing. I mean, a lot of the people who run these companies believe in what they're doing. They want to help gay partners or LGBT, whatever partners, and infertile people to have children and things like that.
Okay.
So the way they see it, they are not abusing the poorer countries, but rather just taking advantage of countries where these laws are not yet established to do something that they believe in.
But I'm sure, like, lots of sweatshops and the like probably have that opinion of themselves, perhaps.
Maybe. That's possible. But, it's one opinion to think that, it's okay to be an awful person, and another opinion to think that you're doing something right.
Yeah, that's very true. It's
usually people who want to do something right end up doing the worst things.
Well, there's a point there because, as Matt mentioned just then, like running a clinic, you are helping people that previously wouldn't have the option to have their own biological child to actually pursue that avenue. So there is a measure of, potentially a lot of these people do really care about offering that service to people, and by setting up in places where surrogacy has yet to be outlawed, they do feel like they're able to give them an option that they normally wouldn't have. So there can be a sense of providing a service there. So I can see that, and I can see why, some people over here would be legitimately upset with having that option removed from them, if that's something that they were willing to explore in the future.
Seems like it should be an option here as well. I probably should have looked into it, what it's like in Australia, the laws and all that.
Well, what it's like is altruistic surrogacy is legal, which means that I think not in all states, but in most states, which means that the mother or the woman who rents her womb, so to speak, is only compensated for the costs of pregnancy. So you basically have to convince someone to do it for you.
Okay, so as long as you're not running your reproductive organs like a business, it's all green, I guess.
Yeah,
the way to look at it.
It's more like renting it out it's more like a hostel than a renting situation.
Like a timeshare.
Yeah, a timeshare. That's a good one.
Whereas women in Cambodia were earning, a good $10,000.
They were actually getting a cut that big?
Yeah.
Damn.
Oh,
which
is I had a worm.
Fucking huge for a Cambodian as well.
That's massive.
Yeah.
What kind of salary, like a yearly salary, would that be for someone, like, on average?
That could be up to 10 years salary for some people.
Jeez.
Wow.
Right. But on average, probably about 5 or 6 years salary.
That's still pretty good for,
Still
9 months.
9 months, and obviously the pain of childbirth and postnatal depression. There's things you've got to look into like that. Bringing up a child, not bringing up because that's outside it.
Yeah.
But having a child grow inside you, I imagine being a dude, not something I can go through, but I imagine it would be something that could be quite a stressful experience. There's a lot of changes going on there, a lot of things that you can't control, but so you would expect to get a fairly healthy paycheck out of it.
Yeah.
So
Sounds like they're getting a better rap than some places in India.
I'm not sure about what happened in India.
Same thing, but I think they basically use like the untouchables and the really poor people, and they don't give them remotely as big a cut.
Okay.
I'm not exactly an expert. I mean, I'm going by this one, a documentary and some news reports I read.
Well, just based on the information that we've got now, I can see that it would be a bit upsetting, to the person who ran the surrogacy clinic, no longer able to provide a service to people who she thought that should be able to help, to the people that want to have children through surrogacy, no longer having that option, and to the women who relied on doing that as an income. It's also, putting them in a worse position. So was there any reason why Cambodia decided, Southeast Asia, as a broad sense, decided to kind of put a clamp down on surrogacy?
I think personally it had a lot to do with this young Japanese man called Mitsutoki Shigeta. In 2014, Thai police raided his apartment in Bangkok, and they found in there 9 pregnant women and 10
I was waiting for that.
and a whole bunch of babies. All, he was the father of all of these. And he's got 16 kids from 10 mothers in Thailand.
Jesus, all right.
He's very young. He was only in his early 20s, and he's the son of a billionaire.
Oh,
okay. Rich people. Ruin it for everyone.
Thai police investigated him, and they couldn't find anything particularly illegal, actually. And his reasoning was that he didn't want to traffic these kids or anything like that. He just wanted to make his gene pool as huge as he possibly could, and have one massive, huge, happy family.
Genghis Khan, that shit. Yeah.
Alright, so okay.
But anyway, he got deported from Thailand, and he came over to Cambodia.
Ugh.
There, the kind of story dissipated from there. I don't know what the fuck happened to this guy. There's nothing in the news about him for 2 years.
His dad just disappeared him.
Yeah, but God knows. Probably still in Cambodia, running a baby farm. But in Cambodia especially, they have also been going through an orphanage scandal in recent years.
Okay.
They used the same article of the Penal Code, Article 332, which prohibits acting as an intermediary between adoptive parents and a pregnant woman. Which was originally brought about to crack down on the orphanage scandal. So, I mean, for whatever these things might be able to do for people, the opportunities for abuse are still quite obviously there.
Yeah.
But so this lady, and as far as we know, many of the surrogacy programs in Cambodia really weren't directly violating anything until they made it just flat out illegal on them.
Yeah, it was, that was the whole thing. That was why everyone was going to Cambodia. It was because it was such a grey area. Now, this Article 332 has been around for a while, since long before this scandal happened. But for some reason, over the past several months, the government just decided to ban the industry.
Well, it's easier than, nuance and considering things.
Because I think the reason why a lot of countries have just flat out banned surrogacy or made it illegal is simply because the difficulty there would be in legislating it, and the fact that it would have so many far-reaching circumstances to other things, just in regards to reproductive rights. that it's simply just easier at this stage to make it illegal to prevent anything heinous or exploitative from happening, and then worry about fixing things later when there's time.
Like
to
the black market that it's inevitably going to create.
Basically. I mean, and especially in a country like Cambodia, where everyone knows, Cambodians included, that the laws are pretty lax.
They're as flexible as your wallet is thick, right?
Yeah, basically. Depending on what you do there.
Depending, yeah.
Yeah. I never had a thick wallet there, but yeah.
That's really eye-opening. It's good to know some of the nuance and reason behind it and why something's occurred and, the potential impacts of it. So,
Yeah.
it's good to actually get some background on that. It was awesome following up with you there, Matt. That was
Yeah.
cool.
And it's cool having a foreign correspondent.
Yeah, that's a gimmick exclusive to us right now.
Yeah,
so.
fucking suck it, young Turks.
Pleasure to be of service.
All right, thank you so much for your time, Matt. That was
All right,
that
guys.
was awesome. We'll
No
be
problem.
sure to get
Being
to.
so professional.
I try. I do.
It's not what I'm here for. But yeah, thanks. It was cool.
Yeah.
I will join you again sometime.
Yes,
catch you around,
that's
mate.
the rough plan.
Later.
Take it easy, man.
Bye, guys.
And now the proper podcast begins.
We can't always be too serious here, so just in a measure to keep things lighthearted, we've got a bit of a gag story to go through this week. You're making fun of my professionalism now.
I am.
But one day,
I'm laughing at your DJ voice.
one
yeah.
day it's going to be fantastic. Everyone always told me at Woolies, Kyle, you should get a job in radio. It's like, well, tell me how to fucking do it and I will.
Ask Dan.
He never got his career in radio.
No, but he got a job.
No, dropped from his apprenticeship or whatever.
I'm just
Or they
saying.
didn't renew it,
You
but
just said how to get. You should
Yeah,
get a job.
yeah.
You got a job.
All right, fuck off. All right.
You didn't get a career.
All right, what's your story, mate? What's your story?
Should we invite Dan sometime?
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We can still make fun of Tim, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course. It's easier with his brother, though. It's like, if you want to make fun of me, who would you get?
Steph.
If you want to make fun of me even more, who would you get?
Well, I don't know, because my relationship with Steph is way easier to just make fun of you with her.
Fucking hell. All right. Fair go. All right. Moving on. What's your story?
All right. This is not part of our top 5.
But it's up there.
You just had to mention it. Actually, my source is actually the Huffington Post.
I saw that same story on ABC as well. So.
Yeah, because they had the best headline of all the ones that came up on the Google search, which is, man hands breast implant to police. Ends up being a jellyfish. Australia.
Yep.
I thought he might have been taking the piss, but no, I read the story and he thought maybe someone had been brutally fucking murdered.
Yeah.
Or been in a horrible accident or something. And the breast implant fell out or something.
With no blood and guts and gore, anything attached to it. Just
Well, it would have been on the beach probably, right?
How
so
would
it
he
would have been
know-
washed off.
I just find it weird that someone knows what a breast implant looks like, but not what a jellyfish looks like, especially when you live in Australia. Like, my
That's
first...
true.
Even sometimes when I see a plastic bag on the beach, I go, that's a fucking jellyfish. Oh, no, it's rubbish.
To be fair, as it was stated in this argument, I think, in New Zealand, a swarm of jellyfish were washed up in 2003 on the beaches there, and it was noted that they had an uncanny resemblance to breast implants.
Oh, well.
So, I mean, fair enough. Kind of.
Actually, does it say what the man's occupation is? Maybe he's a cosmetic surgeon. Maybe he's an assistant to a cosmetic doctor.
Well, I'd say he'd probably definitely know the difference between a breast implant and literally anything else then.
Even when you pick it up, wouldn't you be able to tell? Like, jellyfishes don't feel like silicone.
I never actually picked...
They don't feel like
well,
saline.
most breast implants aren't silicone anyway.
Oh, they're the saline
Yeah,
kind of
the crappy
solution.
ones.
Yeah, but I don't know, jellyfish kind of...
They are probably
Different-
so... You could
Yeah.
basically squeeze a jellyfish and open it up.
But at the same time, you don't, even when they're washed up on the beach, don't touch
No,
jellyfish.
you don't want to touch them.
Because they can still have active stingers on
Yes,
them.
for our international listeners, don't fucking touch jellyfish even if they're dead, because the stingers still sting.
It still fucking hurts.
Yeah.
Have you ever been stung by a jellyfish?
Only blue bottles.
Yeah, I've been stung by a blue bottle once.
Tons. Well, not tons, but yeah.
Once on the hip.
It,
Fuck, that hurt. Hurt so
my
bad.
feet, I think. It was on my foot. And it was traumatic enough that I don't remember the pain.
Mhm.
I don't remember the entire episode. All I remember is that at one point I was screaming, just about crying. And I wasn't a crying sort of kid. I wasn't loud,
Yeah,
I was,
you don't seem like a...
No, when I get angry, I get quiet.
Mm.
Actually, when I get excited and happy, I get loud and stupid. But no, yeah. Even as a kid, I didn't cry and carry on too much. But I vaguely remember just clips of that. It's like how you watch a movie and they like fade to black, fade back into a scene, fade to black. Like a Hideo Kojima game. Yeah.
But
yeah,
it fucking sucks.
Basically, don't touch anything that looks organic in Australia.
Oh yeah, it's probably going to kill you.
Especially the death trees.
Fuck.
No, we have trees that like the sap or the bark has
that's
poison,
right.
and they
venom,
got fucking vines, and the leaves are poisonous, and fuck you.
Yeah. Australia. Well, eucalyptus trees fucking explode. So
they explode, but at least they're not actively trying to kill you.
That's right. We'll get onto that one later. So top 5. So changing it up a bit this week, we have 3 Australian pieces and 2 international pieces, just because I thought the international ones would be really fun to talk about, and I just couldn't pass it.
Brilliant.
All right, so number 5. In 2 separate events this week, protesters took to Parliament House to campaign for the humane treatment of asylum seekers that are currently incarcerated, so to speak, overseas in Nauru, Manus Island and such. The first of which was earlier in the week, where a few protesters took to the viewing gallery of Parliament House to interrupt question time through loud chants and through gluing their hands to the rails to make them harder to be removed. Also, that would fucking hurt. So, dedication. The second was the next day even, where... was it the next day or the day after?
I don't know about the days, but yeah, it was twice in 1 week. I know that much.
Where a similar sort of thing, but this time outside of Parliament House, with a couple of asylum seekers abseiling up Parliament House to unfurl a banner saying "Bring them home," again in reference to asylum seekers incarcerated overseas, and another group held hands in the artificial lake. Would you call it? It's just like a pond thing at Parliament House, and they dyed it red. To show their dissatisfaction with the way that our government treats asylum seekers.
So
and
they were
refugees.
protesting what again? It wasn't the incarceration of our indigenous people at an alarming rate.
No, just the ones overseas.
Just the ones from other places.
No one cares about the ones that are already here.
That's way too much.
Oh, yeah.
That's way too much shame for anyone to deal with, even lefties.
Yeah. Malcolm Turnbull and the, other big L liberals have come out saying that what they're doing is a disgrace to democracy.
No, it is democracy.
Yeah, pretty much. And it's a democracy manifest.
That's what the viewing gallery's for.
But, and that they should be ashamed of themselves and such actions shouldn't be allowed in Parliament House. But keeping in mind that these were the same people that had no problem with Tony Abbott fronting that giant crowd of climate deniers, a few years ago when Julia Gillard was still in power, and he was standing in front of signs that said "ditch the witch" and stuff like that. And they had no problems with the protesters who also went into Parliament House, who chanted "democracy is dead" when the bill climate tax was passed. The ones that chanted "democracy is dead" during Democratic Act. Yeah. They had no problems with this. That was fine. Those people are on their side. But now that it's people pointing out the shitty things that both sides of government have done, Labour is complicit in this as well. They're the ones that came up with the offshore solution in the first place.
As many so-called left-wing parties have done in the 80s and 90s and pulled to the right to try and get hardline right-wing votes. When they don't need to.
Yeah, so what's your stance on this? Sham, what do you think about the protesters? Are they free to do what they are, or is this democracy gone wrong?
They knew they were going to get in trouble.
Of course.
It's the kind of the action that gets you into trouble, like straight out. There probably are some actual rules against it in the viewing gallery. And I'm not talking about like the bullshit stuff they're probably going to charge them with. Like they're going to try and nitpick every little thing and to get them on as many charges as possible, probably because they like fucking with these people. It's democracy, and they knew what they were in for when they did this, and Good on them, I guess.
They made their actions. You're allowed to protest.
Yeah.
They didn't storm Parliament House. They didn't fight anyone. They didn't demand for, politicians to lose their seats because they didn't like the way the election turned out. They simply came in and campaigned against something that they feel strongly about, which is democracy, which is fine. You're allowed to do such things.
As for the actual refugee bullshit, At this point, I'm not even sure if I care whether they stay or go one way or the other. As long as they're processed in a reasonable amount of time, I think 6 months should be plenty, except for really extreme, really hard to track down cases.
Yeah, not the half a decade that they've got like
Yeah,
kids locked
years.
in there for. Like
Children.
people are losing their childhoods being
Yeah.
locked up over there.
It's fucking ridiculous. Just do it. And it should be onshore. It's our problem. It's here. Stop pissing money away. We're giving millions and millions of dollars to these other countries nearby who are kind of like, we're trying to turn into vassal states, somewhat successfully. They've got natural gas and resources.
But they're not using those funds to take care of the people.
No, they're not. Well, it's not just because we don't let them. We make sure there's corrupt people in there. We find they're corrupt people. They get into power. They always manage to get into power, corrupt people. And then, we work with those people.
Because you can buy the corrupt people.
You can buy them.
But I think a lesson can be learned from this action. You linked it back to the Indigenous Australians over here. Like the alarming rate that they're being incarcerated and how they're being treated.
Young men, generally.
It's pretty disgusting.
It's just weird.
Australia just needs to tackle its human rights issues. Unfortunately, you don't get elected doing
human rights abuses.
So, moving on to the next point. The 15% backpacker tax passes the Senate after being rejected earlier this week. I know you have opinions on things being ping-ponged to and from the Senate.
It just got rejected. How is it fucking back already?
It was the next day, mate. The bill passed thanks to the coalition making amendments to secure the vote of the unlikely allies of Richard Di Natale and the Greens.
It's not that unlikely.
So these amendments include an extra $100 million for Landcare Australia. Landcare Australia's reaction has been, oh, fuck. What do we do with money?
Fucking land care. I mean, sure, they probably do good work, but good job, Greens.
Yeah, so the backpacker tax has been a source of much frustration for fruit farmers all across the country who rely on backpackers to do most of the fruit picking for them, but when they started to get taxed...
Because Woolworth and Coles don't pay them enough for their produce.
But when they started to get taxed 30% of their income some time ago, as well as having to forfeit 96% of their superannuation, the industry became dogged with issues such as just paying people under the table at unfair, below the award rates, or just the people that wanted to do it legitly just not being able to attract people to work on their farms because they couldn't give them as much money.
Yeah.
So I think this is a win for the tourism industry. Something that Australia really needs to examine, because in terms of what else we can offer to the world in terms of exports and resources after the mining boom, we got nothing.
Yeah.
So, let them come over here, let them pick the fruit, let them get, fair wage for it. I think it's the first $5,000 they get tax-free. And they only forfeit now 65% of super.
I think generally speaking, it should probably reflect actual just income tax and things.
Yeah, it's a ward rate. It's still a ward rate.
Sure, there's probably other factors that come into account, having basically backpackers and tourists doing the work. But generally speaking, that's the baseline you shouldn't move too far from.
Yeah, because 30% for when you're probably only going to earn like $10,000 while you're over here, it's not a lot.
Yeah.
So moving on, point number 3 is the rampaging heat wave that we are actually now experiencing at this present moment.
Apparently this is news. I just thought it was fucking reality. Kyle's been bitching about it all day, funnily enough.
As of Friday, Bureau of Meteorology has told us that we will be experiencing a heat wave, bringing with it, of course, increased temperatures, humidity, all the other fun stuff that goes with it. So locations such as Birdsville are hitting up to 47 degrees Celsius.
God fucking damn, that's a lot. That's death.
Yeah, that's...
I think once you actually hit 50, it's...
your body's not supposed to go over 33 degrees Celsius internal temperature. So while Brisbane and the outer suburbs are staying around the low 30s, so I think temperatures of like 30, 32 common for the south side here. New South Wales has also issued a total fire ban in the wake of the heat wave, attempting to curb the chance of destructive bushfires that usually occur in the Australian summer and have actually led to some fairly terrifying events in past years. Yeah,
so I wouldn't be surprised if Victoria, pretty much all the states pushing up towards 40, start issuing fire bans and all sorts of things.
Because as we were talking about earlier, it gets to certain temperatures and eucalyptus trees explode. That's how they germinate. That's how they spread their seeds. Our trees spread their seeds by fucking exploding.
Yes.
Wow.
And also,
thanks, nature.
And still bees in some cases.
Yeah.
You know what? Our bees aren't spectacularly vicious. That's one thing.
They're very nice. They're very gentle creatures.
They're pretty just average chill bees.
Yeah.
It's the one nice part of Australia. Our bees, aren't as
that
terrible.
bad. Wow. We've got spiders and snakes to make up for it. But no, so you're saying this is usual Australian weather, which it typically is. We usually do get a heat wave right at the start of December.
High 40s and 50s does become a little less common yearly.
So people living, up north and out west, they're probably going to start feeling it a bit more, especially as we move towards Cairns or we move towards Northern Territory out that way.
Yep.
I feel sorry for those dudes. Hope they have air conditioning. Hope they have a pool.
I don't know how public schools up in North Queensland don't automatically have actual just air conditioning for school hours.
They do in Northern Territory. It's legislated that they have to. But as far as I'm aware, only certain districts in North Queensland have. I know Roma, they got it, because that's a big win for them, especially in Queensland, because I remember in school, it gets fucking hot here.
It's a waste of a whole fucking season.
And when you have to wear a whole
school.
fucking uniform, it's just absolute garbage to try and do anything productive in that weather, and trying to teach in that weather, it's garbage as well. I'm still not sure why it isn't legislated across the whole of at least North Queensland. Just have air conditioning, or I'd even argue places New South Wales as well.
Just have climate control inside public schools.
Just pay for it. Like, this is people's education.
And then you're hiring fucking air conditioning installers and contractors for maintenance. Oh, look, we're stimulating the economy somehow.
Wow, who'd have thought? Alright, so that does it for the Australian news, because outside of us all burning to death, nothing else really exciting happens.
That's pretty usual.
So, on to international news with number 2, just because I thought Sean would love to talk about this one. Protests in Jakarta surrounding Indonesia's chief of police. So he's warned protesters that they may be charged with treason ahead of planned rallies against Jakarta.
Fucking cops can't charge anyone with treason. They're cops.
Ahead of planned rallies.
They charge people with jaywalking and shit.
Against Jakarta's governor, Basuki Ahok Tjahaya Punama. So these protests have been protests? What the fuck is wrong with me today?
It's hot.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's hot.
So they've been led by hardline Islamic groups who want Ahok to be jailed for blasphemy because of comments he made about the Quran during his campaign. Maskai book.
Our superior of God is so fucking sensitive.
Yeah, so the blasphemy claim comes from Ahok accusing his opponents in the Jakarta election earlier of deceiving voters by using Quran verses to convince them that Muslims are not allowed to vote for a non-Islamic candidate. Ahok has since apologized for the comments, but to little effect.
Yeah, these nutcases don't give a shit if you apologize. They just want an excuse to fucking whine and carry on.
So President Joko Widodo and Ahok are good friends and strong political allies, and Widodo has come forward accusing these groups of trying to bring down his government piece by piece, so to speak. It should be noted that Indonesia is 85% Muslim in population, whilst Ahok is a Christian from China. So I guess you could sort of argue that this is a bit racism, isn't it?
No, it's to do with religion.
Oh, so it's just idiots.
Idiots, yeah.
Yeah.
They worship the same fucking idiot, insecure sky god. Man, Yahweh is such a bitch.
Can't deal. We are mere mortals. How dare we? How dare we have an opinion on things that wounds him?
Fucking according to the Bible, he's a mere mortal. Like, seriously, he's weak to iron chariots, for fuck's sakes.
What a pussy.
What a pussy!
That's what humans are weak to.
Yeah.
Chariots. My one weakness.
Yeah. Seriously, he's like, oh shit, I gotta get the fuck out of here. You Jews can handle them, hopefully. I need to bail. And fuck yeast, by the way.
So yeah, this is bullshit. 85% Muslim. There are laws against blasphemy and stuff like that, but that leads into theocracy. And I think in terms of trying to be a civilized nation, no nation should be theocratic under any circumstance. Like, people try and talk about, religion is, the source of morals. Why people do good things is because of religion. It's like, well, if you go back to, when religion started, people did shitty things under religion.
They still do it.
And people are still doing it now. Like, I don't like this guy because he said things about my religion. Well, that's nice, but that doesn't mean shit.
That's your fairy tale, not mine. Fuck you.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm being intentionally tactless. Just because I'm on my own podcast, so fuck it.
Yeah.
Fuck you if you don't.
Religion can get fucked. In terms of government, people from a religious group should not be able to demand that someone gets stood down from government because he doesn't agree with their religion. It sets a horrible precedent, even if it's just in Indonesia. I think the rest of the world should look down on this sort of thing and condemn it, because religion should have nothing to do with any arm of government.
I mean, you know, if he's speaking about Islam, he is kind of inciting it, bringing it on himself, but at the same time,
get some nads.
Fucking dumb.
I don't know.
Just be like, be like the Mormons.
Just move to your own bit of the country?
No,
just not give a fuck?
Those are terrible ones. They have racketeering and shit. Like, they're terrible people.
Okay.
No, but I mean, like, you know, when the Book of Mormon play came out, they didn't just fucking carry on and they took out a full page ad in the New York Times, and it says, if you enjoyed this musical, please look into the Church of Latter-day Saints for more information. I mean, when you look into it, there are fucking terrible elements of them, but they're mostly confined to Utah. So we can let Utah go.
No, I think this is the thing. I think just going on as well as towards the reaches that religion has in government. Religion shouldn't have tax-exempt status.
No.
That's
fuck
bullshit. You. Why does it need that?
I'm okay with...
It's not a charity.
I'm okay with charities still having tax-exempt status, and
That's
I'm
fine,
okay
'cause
with
they
churches
something.
having a defined, organized wing that provide charitable services that could be taxed. And I don't mean fucking Sunday prayer and all that bullshit. I mean actual charitable organizations that meet the requirements.
So things like St. Vincent de Paul or something like that,
But yeah, no.
The whole religion doesn't...
Eat a massive dick like you make children do, fucking dirty priests.
Yeah, you're not providing an essential service for anyone. You should have to pay tax just like anyone
because
else.
that was the original deal. You're supposed to provide for the community a service, a need.
But it's not.
No, they would argue they are, but no. I want to see something tangible, bitch.
Yeah, no, like tricking people with spirituality isn't the same as helping people.
And when I say tangible, I want to see the exact opposite of all the child molesters who are tangibly providing a negative.
That's still a huge thing.
Like 1 in 20?
There's still all the inquest and going into that. It's disgusting.
And the reason it's dragging on is because you've got people like Tony Abbott and God, I can't even remember the
Cardinal
opposition.
Pell?
No, I was you guys going to talk about Labour as well.
Oh, shit.
I can't even remember what the opposition...
Bill Shorten.
Bill Shorten, yeah.
Billy Short. Yeah.
What's it? Is he religious?
If he was a true lefty, he wouldn't be.
Because I know Kevin Rudd was he was a
Catholic.
Was he a Catholic? I thought he was one of I thought he was a Protestant of some kind.
No. As far as I'm aware, he's from near about where I am in Queensland. Everyone from there is Catholic.
All right.
It's just how it is. There's so many Catholic schools. I went to 2 Catholic schools.
I remember that, yeah. What's his face? The communications guy just got fired. I've already forgotten his name. Stephen Conroy. Devout Catholic.
No.
Get the fuck out. Well, he did, but then he took
He took
all
his
that
pension
money.
with him. Yeah.
Cunt.
All right. So number 1, and this one's probably not going to be as fun because Sham should have really read up on this because it's entertaining as fuck.
He sent me the
I
documents.
thought you knew about it.
An hour beforehand. I told you last week. Maybe give me a heads up on news stories.
Okay.
Although I kind of like going in half blind.
It's fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I'm not learning anything, but it's fun.
President Park Geun-hye, I think that's how you say it.
That sounded too German, but anyway.
Faces an impeachment vote next week following accusations of her conspiring with her longtime friend Choi Soon-sil, a close friend of hers, in an influence peddling scandal. These accusations have seen hundreds of thousands of protesters take to the streets of Seoul. So basically the skinny of this is that President Park is the daughter of a cult leader who has been groomed to be the president of South Korea. Her friend Choi Soon-sil is basically part of doing all these legislations and stuff like that, and then they're embezzling from companies, getting gross amounts of money to secure their votes and support and to not, bring punitive legislative action against them.
Okay, so...
she's literally a lizard person is basically what it's going on.
So South Korea has a female president.
Yeah.
Fucking suck it, Hillary. Everyone beats you. Everyone. Suck it. You'll never be president. But they're basically the same people, right? Except for the cult leader, the cult thing.
Yeah.
I mean, they're just embezzling cash from,
if
corporations
you look
and
into
the
this,
Saudis.
it's basically she's a lizard person. And I think it was
just like Hillary.
1 million people or whatever protested the other week.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're gonna want to probably get rid of her before the peasants kill all the nobles.
Because the thing is, like, every opposition, I think there's 165 seats the opposition currently holds. So parties that aren't the main coalition, and they want to do an impeachment vote, but that you need a 2/3 majority to do an impeachment in South Korea. So they need support from the current ruling party. And the ruling party earlier, a lot of them were like, yeah, no, do an impeachment vote. Like, we want to be able to wash ourselves clean of this. Otherwise, we're never going to be able to do anything as a party again. But Park has been like, oh, I'm very sorry. I will offer to stand down. Blah, 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 blah. And they're like, oh, she's offered to stand down now.
She's offered to stand down, and she gave us millions of dollars ourselves. Probably.
Yeah. So
that's how politics works.
So no, like, they want to pursue the impeachment. I don't think there's any way the people of South Korea are going to be happy unless legislative action has been taken against her.
How many seats total, or
300.
300.
So they need 200 votes to do an impeachment.
165.
165, yeah. So they need an extra 35. Yeah.
It's not that far away.
Yeah. So this is a huge deal. This has been festering for weeks and weeks ever since the scandals first kind of emerged. And the world's kind of been very slow to talk about it, because I think everyone's obsessed with currently right now trying to invent corruption with the not even inaugurated Donald Trump. That they're kind of just ignoring the corruption that's occurred. Yeah, now that we've got all of that crap out of the way, we've discussed our serious bits. News is important, Sean. Now we either got the capacity to ramble and go on about whatever the hell we want, because that's why we decided to record this anyway.
It's a bit waffly, but yeah, they'll do.
Somewhere else.
Slate.com. What abortion clinics are like to work in under Trump?
Don't get me wrong, not a Trump person. Absolutely dislike the idea of him being president. At the same time, he's not president. Can't accuse him of fucking anything up yet.
No,
give him time.
All the stuff you want to blame on him is Obama's fault right now.
Give him time. Give him time. Fingers crossed. My biggest hope is he'll prove me wrong. That's the best possible scenario. I will happily eat my own hat if that happens.
Do you even have a hat?
No, but I'll get one.
Okay. I've got a ton.
Fuck. Yeah, so world's falling apart, Sean. I think democracy is slowly dying. I think we need a socialist revolution.
Do we have to murder our rivals and then become corrupt?
Yes.
Damn. I do have my little Soviet star hat though, so
there you go.
We're already on the way. And I got the beard.
Yeah, you do. Oh god, if you were to wear the hat with the flaps and everything, you would.
Oh, I wish. It's too damn hot to own
Bolshevik as fuck, mate. Bolshevik as fuck. True hero of the people.
That's the plan.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, so we're slowly watching things whittle and die. Democracy is being tested. We'll see if it gets
It really is.
Yeah.
All over Europe, the United States, it doesn't seem as bad on the surface in Australia, but it will.
It will be.
As soon as Pauline Hanson becomes Prime Minister.
Oh, fucking kill me. It wasn't like 70% of people would prefer her to Malcolm Turnbull.
Vote for us instead. Like, we're working class.
We'll register as a party. I can cook a mean fish and chips, you know?
I'll call the other party leaders stupid names.
Yeah, you know?
Like, I don't even give a shit.
Well, we're accessible for everyone. I can't grow a beard. Sham can, you know?
I'll,
friendly dudes. Sham's vegetarian. Inclusive of your diet.
But I still hate the Greens. Yeah.
I like the Greens, but I think they should be a bit more left.
I think they should be less authoritarian, less positive liberty, and more negative liberty. Sounds weird to say, but it's accurate. Negative liberty, by and large, is the way to go.
Yeah?
Negative liberty, I can't define it myself. It's the kind of concept, you hear it, it makes sense, you go, oh yeah, right, I get it.
Okay.
But I personally cannot actually describe it accurately. It's like, it's just one of those things. You know how it's like a word, but if someone said...
yeah, it's
like, you know how to use it in context. You know how to use it
conversationally, but you can't explain to someone else how they can use it conversationally.
Yeah.
Happens all the time with stuff, because I'll be going about something or other, because I'm a ranting, raving dickhead, and I'll say something which will go completely over her head, and she's like, what the hell does that mean? I'm like, I know, but I can't tell you.
Basically, positive liberty would be like enacting anti-discrimination laws, I suppose, are form positively in that they restrict people from restricting others. So it protects the minority from a tyrannical majority. That's one example. It's not the best. Like, whereas negativity would be like, yeah, sure, homophobes exist, but they're allowed to do that because just as long as they leave you alone, it's fine.
I think that's one thing with all like the discussion about 18C recently. I think one of the things that people are going
18C, you want to provide context?
The racial discrimination. You know what it is. Yeah?
Not by that name.
Okay, so it's like clause 18C where you're not allowed to discriminate someone on the basis of like religion, gender, stuff like that. You're not allowed to discriminate on. But I think people are ignoring about having legislation like that and I can't remember his name, but brilliant gay rights activist from the UK, and that he brought up because there was the whole thing, the cake store, no, we're not going to make this gay couple a wedding cake, that's against our beliefs. And so it was this big court case, no, you should have to make them a cake if they ask, apart from the fact it's a business, they can choose to discriminate against customers. And what this dude was saying is that, no, you can't enforce the law like that, because what if
terrible idea.
A neo-Nazi was to go to a Jewish publisher and give him his memoirs, which have like maybe aren't neo-Nazi in belief, but just say publish this, and he's like, no, I don't want to on the basis of what you believe. Well, against anti-discrimination laws, he could take him to court.
Yeah.
So,
and now there's a precedent set.
Exactly.
Good job, left.
So yeah, so if you give people options like that, they're always going to be used for a worst case scenario.
I know shitty people always die out slowly. It takes forever. And they repopulate, but not as fast as they die. Like, you know, no one gives a shit. Most people don't care if you're gay or... It doesn't matter what the fuck you are. Just as long as you're not being a shitty person.
Exactly. That's
how it progresses, and if you keep fucking shoving shit down people's throat, then you've got to create strange bedfellows to stand up for these fucking douchebags. Now we're all on the same side because you're being a fucking even tyrannical douchebag.
Yeah.
And
people don't like to be told they're wrong about something they don't have an opinion on. And which shits me.
Yeah.
Because the whole social justice thing is just basically yelling and screaming. It's like, we want this, we deserve this, that's all this. It's like, that's cool, that's fair, I totally understand. But the way that you're carrying on about it, you're basically accusing people, belittling them, badgering them. That doesn't win anyone to your own side. It makes people antagonistic against you because you're attacking them.
Yeah.
And they haven't done anything wrong. And then they're like, oh, it's not our job to educate you, it's not our job to make you feel good. It's like, well,
it's not my job to fucking listen to you,
if you want people to care. You know, the way you get things done in politics or even in the world is to make people care about your point of view, and no one's going to care about it if you make them feel like shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Democracy manifest.
God, I had something to say following up, but it's just gone.
Yeah. Just like democracy.
Right. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. No. It's really disturbing that the 21st century is looking actually exactly like the 20th century.
Yeah.
It's extremely fucking... There's literal fucking revolutionary socialists who are all generally wealthy kids. They want to fucking control everything, which means the fascists are pushing back, so we're gonna have communism and... communists in one form versus fascists in one form or another. It's fucking weird. Like, you people that fucking stupid. This is why gender studies is dumb. You need to go to fucking study history.
Yeah, exactly.
Women were in history too, believe it or not. I know the narratives if they weren't, but they were. And there's plenty of them.
And people really do need to look at the study of history, because study of history now focuses on a lot on what's called historiography, which is the study of history. Yeah, it's meta as fuck, but it's more about understanding how history can be interpreted in certain ways by, even when history was studied at a certain point, what was the culture, what was the idea, that the conclusion that they wanted to come to, rather than the conclusion that they naturally came to. So just being critical about it.
Wasn't that taught in in history classes by professors that had common sense and insight and reflection? Wasn't that just already a thing by good professors?
Yeah, pretty much.
Like, this is what the history books tell us, but you've got to understand this was going on when this person read this or wrote this, blah, 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 blah. These guys won this particular war, blah, 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 blah.
Exactly.
Jesus.
It's all about perspective. And that's why everyone believes whatever article they read on Facebook or gets shared by Pauline Hanson or David Wolf, because they don't actually have the critical thinking skills to look into it further.
Yeah. History is written by the winners, but that's only if the winners actually had a written history.
Yeah.
If the losers have a written history, they just say they're better. And the other ones are savages. I'm just talking about Romans and Vikings.
Oh, I thought you were talking about Japan.
That's an... other one.
It's apt, mate.
Yeah.
All right, I think we've gobbled on for far too long. That was really fun. That was really interesting.
Well, that was more of a down note to end with.
Woo! We can fix it in post.
You can fix it. Womp, 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 womp.
We can't always be too serious here, so just in a measure to keep things lighthearted, we've got a bit of a gag story to go through this week. You're making fun of my professionalism now.
I am.
One day.
I'm laughing at your DJ voice.
One day it's